Welcome back, everyone, to the recap of Week 5 for the Thundering Wings Premier League. And Week 5 is the most important week to watch now, obviously,
No,
because the teams that qualify will be decided here. And is even a single team out of the running pre this week? Rice, you have more intel about that.
yeah, no one is out guaranteed. It all depends on um, each other's scores. So this is a huge week because literally no one is out of this. No one has guaranteed qualified. So it's just a game of odds. Whoever wins that match and like the person who they're fighting it out with, they lose. So they qualify. So even the Ursulings who are at 2 points, if the Melmetals lose, they qualify. And if they win. So you see, no one is out and it's so extremely close. And now you see what happened. You see who qualified and yeah, let's get into it.
Let's see. In the first matchup, we saw the Ursarinx versus the Wooloos, and the Ursarinx completely flattened the Wooloos. We saw Saki versus Aikichi, which will be our match we will watch here, because if I remember correctly and I was told correctly, this is Saki's debut game in SSOU for the
See,
Ursarinx.
Saki and LPZ have replaced unicorns in the niche. So if you're wondering why you never saw both of them before, that's because they're reinforcements for the Ursulings. So yeah, that's why this is Saki's debut and LPZ's debut too. And
And
you see
then
what happened.
we saw Inder versus Hohenn in Ubers, which went to Inder. In Monotype, we saw Multiprice taking on EU and taking the victory for the Wooloos. The one victory they have in the 7 matches where we can see the winner. And Saki versus Captain Akechi, we will see who won that later. Then we see in the Slam Best of 3, we saw LPZ, the other replacement, taking the victory over Le Panda Chill in Slam. Then in Anything Goes, Amok OP was able to defeat Assault Destiny. That was a rhyme.
So
I'm really good. I should be a rapper.
that's an upset. Ooh,
That's for
that
sure is
should
an
be a rap
upset.
name. That was an upset because Destiny is an AG man, and I don't think Amog plays it a lot. So that's an upset. Amog's debut game too. So yeah, that's interesting, and Amog gets the win.
NetDex OU, we see Adam taking on Omikorio and taking the win here. Then we saw in the SS 1v1, we saw Mini Charizard X versus Snake, and Mini Charizard X was able to take this game, or the series. And then in Little Cup, Yippee Drippy facing a bunch of random letters, AFDVCC, SC, sorry. And Yippee Drippy was able to win that matchup in Little Cup. The random letters lost. And to find out if it was a 6-2 or a 7-1, we will have to watch Saki versus the captain in OU. And looking at the teams, we can see one side playing the slush rush
Hell,
combo.
what a rise! It went from from the bottom of the bottom, and now it's in UUBL. So Hail is now very popular in OU, and you see Saki bringing Hail with Galarian Moltres, which runs absolute rampant in Monotype. It is in UU again. Funny how does it different. And now we see a Dragapult Melmetal Lando Slowbroton. I think I've seen this team before from Ikichi. So we'll see how this pans out.
And Ikichi having the more typical OU team, I would say, with like two regen mons, strong offense, the Lando, which is in a
Lando,
lot of teams, and Saka bringing a more like offensive, less seen
Bar-
style of team. We will see who takes the win here, and the lead will be Tornadoes versus Excadrill.
you see a Stealth Rock lead, most possibly. It eats the Thunder Wave, it eats the Heat Wave. Might see a defog here from the Dawn. That's the defog. which gives Saki the free switch into 9 tiers to get the hail up. You might see what happens.
Hypnosis
Bold
on the
prediction.
Melmetal is huge because now
Yep.
this Melmetal is not threatening to just Oko half of your team.
Yep.
But it
And
woke
the
up
Moltres
now.
comes in.
But this
But
Moltres
that's a bulk.
eats.
This that's very bulky. That's like Fizz Def Moltres Galar, I think. And yep, the Excadrill comes in to get the free rocks up now, and maybe use. There's a double to Tapu Lele, a very bold double, and onto the Slowbro, which is a great double from Saki. It's a Calm Mind Lele, so maybe Twisted Spoon, maybe. You'll see what it is.
The Calm Mind now. Tornado's missing the
And
Toxic, which is huge.
Toxic,
A
and
second Calm Mind
that's
from
the.
Lele. Maybe a
This is
bit
absolutely
greedy.
gonna. Yeah, but this is gonna absolutely nuke this Tornadus. There
Oh,
goes the Tornadus.
not even close. But Dragapult can come in now. He
And chip
U-turns
it down
out
with U-turn.
and it didn't
Kill,
like get
and
any
that's a
damaging
drain.
because Draining Kiss heals it up again.
Life of Draining Kiss. Yep, it's just
The
Focus Blast.
great
Great predict.
read. Focus Blast killing the
Amazing read.
Melmetal, which is
That's an amazing
huge.
read, and it hit. So yep, Shadow Ball taking out the Lele even at +2. Now gives a free switch to Ninetales. Ninetales
Making the
eating the
play
Shadow
here,
Ball with.
assuming the Aurora Veil, and so he just went for the Shadow Ball. He could have been Infiltrator and killed behind the screen, but he most likely
Sack
is
of,
not given he swapped out.
and that's the sack of Excadrill, and now Mortis Gala comes in. You might see if this is flying move. It is flying move and absolutely nukes the Shifu. Hits the Hurricane,
And
and
there's
yep,
the
that's an
FF
early for.
because nothing
Now
like
just
Slowbro and Dragapult
Octazord.
get O-code and
Octazord
Landorus
wins.
has no way. And Arctosaur also ends. Yeah,
Yeah,
but like even Moltres wins here. Like
yeah,
Dragapult
not
gets Fire Raft, Slowbro gets Fire Raft, and what is a Lando T really gonna do to a Moltres behind a screen?
yep, and that's game. Saki winning that debut match against Captain
In
Ichishi,
really
and
convincing fashion, like with an
yeah,
unconventional team, great reads with Lele, and just destroyed the team.
and destroyed the team. They did destroy the mental, absolutely destroyed the mentally. The Wooloos are out now thanks to losing that game, and now Earthlings have a shot at qualifying 7-1. So they're
7-1
taking out.
massive win.
That's the biggest win in the whole tournament. No one has won 7-1 yet, so that they've gone out in a great fashion. Earthlings, they've taken out all the anger they had in the past couple of weeks due to some unfortunate losses, and yep, Earthlings absolutely demolishing the Wooloos,
Getting
the
a
Wooling
new
Wooloos.
getting replacements and just like going to town on people.
And Wolves are out now, and Earthlings have a chance to qualify. You'll see if they qualify or not, or depending on the upcoming results. So yeah, let's go.
Let's look at talking about
Oh,
anger from build up lost
before
games. We have raging
before I
Rhydons. Oh yeah, go on,
before I
Wes.
say anything, before I say anything, Wooloo's losing means three teams automatically qualify. So that means the Raging Rhydons, Stalwart Sakatakas, and the Zeb Streakers automatically qualify because of the Wolves' loss. So that means now these teams have nothing to lose. It's just between the Earthlings and the Melmetals, and who qualifies depends on if the Melmetals win or not. So
All
yeah, let's move
right.
on to the second game.
Let's look at Raging Rhydons versus Stalwart Stakatakas, and we saw Chile Habaneros the winning over CCN. Then in Ubers, we saw the most expensive player, Amir, playing again not any of the metas he ever played, versus Nail, and Nail wins this matchup. In Mono, we saw Mixwell versus Memo Miguel taking the W. This is not an upset or anything. They are both really good players and both could have won this series. And then we saw the Slam Best of Three between Anik and Rise Up to the Top. And Anik took the W. Rise up to the top. Be ashamed of yourself.
We're not talking. Hey, don't no, we're not talking about that. That did not happen.
then, we,
I don't play Islam.
then we
I don't
saw
play Islam.
And then we saw anything goes between Swastik and Derp, and Swastik was able to take the victory here. Then in Net Dex OU, we saw Spec versus MC The Legit, and Spec won. Then in Black and White OU, we saw Thankful versus Bynum, and we will watch that match later. And in Gen 4 OU, we saw the GOAT, the Sprinkler, taking down Ladon. And now it's a 4-3 in the scores, which means our match will decide if the Raging Rhydons won or if we tied week 5. Now let's have a look at that. Remember, Gen 5, way different mechanics. You still have steel resisting, ghost, and dark. You have the 2x damage crits instead of 1.5 times damage. You have weak AF knockouts. You have defogs that don't clear hazards. You have permanent weather, and we see both players here with the weather teams, one bringing rain, the other bringing sand, which is really common in this gen. Let's see how these teams play out. And we see right off the bat the Gliscor leading into the Politoed. Politoed wanting to get in the drizzle. Obviously protecting, getting the Toxic Orbs for the Toxic here procced. Going to Jelly Sand, which is a really common Pokemon for this style of team to defeat Rain in particular. Ferrothorn on Rain, on the other hand, super common because it is just not getting destroyed by fire types anymore. We still see a knockoff, but you see this, it's no damage. Knockoff this gen, no damage at all. It's like 20 base power or something, or 30, I don't know completely. Thunder is coming in, forcing out
Yeah,
that
the
Pokemon, and
12%.
Substitute. Substitute is
You see the
really good.
burn is 12% this gen too. So you see 12% chip. And now the Tyranta comes in to change the weather, and you see a Politoed coming back in, so the weather was a beginning. Jellicent comes in, doubling on the Politoed. Politoed scouts what it's gonna do. A Will-O-Wisp is what's gonna come up, and maybe
Maybe
see
he
what happens
expected
here. A
another
taunt.
Will-O-Wisp going for the typical Anchor on this style of team, but getting red and just taunted. And now Ferrothorn is taking a lot of damage. Power Whip dealing good damage even though it's burned, but it's not enough to even come close to killing a Jellicent, which is a really defensive
It,
Pokemon.
yeah,
It
and it
recovers
just
back
loses
up,
this one more.
and now Ferrothorn is dead. Only got 2 layers of spikes in. Scizor coming in, getting burned, which is very bad for Fangfo. You don't want Scizor to be burned in this matchup because Scizor is a really big threat to a lot of Pokemon. Then there comes the Thundurus hitting the Thunder, but Gliscor being able to just switch into that. Getting the rocks now.
Three rocks, there, and you scout the U-turn. This is really tough for Fangfo right now. Bynum is just positioned way too well and predicts this call. And what I observed, yup, Jellicent is just so rough for this team right now. It's
Also,
just spreading the
especially
status.
because Tentacruel is the Rapid Spinner, right? But you can't Rapid Spin as long as this Pokemon is alive because it will just be the Ghost type switching in, not caring. So you can not really get rid of the hazards because Defog does nothing, then Rapid Spin gets blocked by Ghost, so this gen is like Stealth Rocks and Spikes are way stronger than in Gen 6 and onwards, where Defog got the buff. A crit Earthquake killing Politoed is huge for the weather war, because now that means once Cheetah is in, the weather is here to stay. And Fangful really not finding an answer to the very defensive Sandstorm core we see here. Cheetah now coming in. The Rapid Spin clearing the Stealth Rocks, which helps Fangfo to bring in, especially the Flying type, right? Not getting destroyed anymore. Toxic also here able to kill, which helps just taking down Cheetah, which is a massive threat in this gen. Keldeo coming in, probably tried to get a read here, but we see the protect again, and it's probably a choice lock to Keldeo, so attacking there into the protect would also make you weak to read. Now we see Thunderous's
Is the
hidden power ice.
in power ice, and yep, a double to tentacle here on Skarmory, and see what
There's a
happens. Scald.
Scald. Burn on
That's the
top of
burn.
that. Drill Peck dealing no damage now because of the burn. But the Sandstorm slowly chipping down also the defensive Pokemons on Fangfo's side, right? The Tentacool gets chipped, but the Sandstorm is not able to recover its HP with the leftovers anymore. Now Keldeo comes in on the predicted roost, which was a risk because if the Skarmory attacked with Drill Peck, this Keldeo would be dead, most likely. Now we see Keldeo hitting Surf, getting predicted, again healing, and honestly, nearly unbeatable Pokemon for Fangful because he has no answer to a Pokemon with Water Absorb that is also a Ghost type. He can't get the Toxic off on it, and it just walls his team. And once Tentacool is down, there's nothing that
Nothing
can
at
be
all.
done.
But
And now we see Tentacool
you
dies,
can't
and
start as the
it's
Jellicent.
this Jellicent is just because Thundurus doesn't have the because this Thundurus is also like not able to ever get in a position where it kills Gliscor or Jellicent. He just always gets red, has to make bold plays, and in the end it didn't work out. The burn on Sizer means it deals no damage to this very, very defensive Pokemon in Gliscor that is
Even with
also
that
able to
double
just
crit,
heal.
even doubling damage does nothing to Gliscor, and it just dies to the residual chip.
And now the
The
choice is
Cardio comes in.
Keldeo. No matter what he does,
Does
hidden power ice as we see deals no damage
does
here,
nothing.
and it's just a hopeless
And
position.
yep,
So
and
we
that you
saw
see
the
that
Gen
Jellicent.
5 game, Jellicent from Bynum, basically doing all the work alone.
Yep, and that means the Rhydons have won the week 5-3, putting them at the first position, and they are currently they're the first team in the top, at the top, and the only team to get double digits in points. So now we move on to the penultimate, the huge matchup. Because if the Melmetals win, that means the Melmetals qualify. Melmetals lose, that means Ursulings qualify. And we see the lineups, and yeah, let's move on.
We saw
If
in
you'd like to.
OU AB defeating ABHK in a really good Gen 8 OU match. Then we saw in Ubers TPC getting defeated by Kinso Ketchum. In Mono, we saw Plunder defeating Flat Zone. Plunder the Goat. Back at it. In Slam Best of 3, we saw Crow taking down TDR. Then in Anything Goes, we saw TGA defeating Friddo. Then in the NetDex OU, we saw Red Goop again losing against Era. Then we see random battles, which will be what we're looking at. There will be a lot of meme talk. Don't watch it if you don't like
Ye-
memes, honestly.
yeah. Uh,
And in
the
Sun and Moon Mono, we saw the legendary Rams getting slayed by Style CSS.
so yeah, it all comes. So the funny part is, this is a huge match, and it comes down to random battles, and yeah,
It
they
comes
chose the
down
random battles.
to random battles. Stitchu versus Arna VG Yupta.
I would like to say something, and that is that Arnav Gupta is a great random battle player. He is very renowned in the random battles there. Even though how random the tier is, he's still one of the best random battles players in the top. So yeah,
Knowing
it's just a
about like
great
what
pickup.
sets Team Pokemon run, what Pokemon are good for Dynamaxing. So also reading the opponent, right? You have no team preview. So if a player brings in a specific Pokemon as answer to your Pokemon, that means it's most likely their best answer. So you can get a lot of information that way. Especially like let's say you have out a dragon, threatening a dragon move. If they don't bring a fairy, odds are high they don't have a ferry. And all that kind of stuff goes into playing random battles. I also played a lot of random battles Gen 7, for example, and there is skill involved. Obviously, you can get absolutely destroyed by luck and getting, like, for example, as Frieze always says, getting Cherrim, and it's a trash Pokemon. Its only use is Healing Wish, honestly. And yeah, we will see. And we see from Stitchu, amazing prep right there, bringing 6 Pokemon you cannot see. Insane preparation right
Uh,
there. And we
uh,
see a Rotomore against Clado. Already
what
Stitcher winning the lead matchup.
amazing, amazing lead. That's such a good
Leaf
lead.
Storm hitting a Bomb Snowman for 0 damage, basically. And a Kyurem comes out, basically cheating by bringing in an Uber Pokemon. But Genesect is the answer to Ubers, just out-Ubering your opponent. Freeze, Ice Beam, freezing the Genesect. Really tough for the Genesect. Getting frozen there as one of the big threats in the tier. That's why a lot of people want to bring it, but never get to it. And Fire Blast dealing no damage to Claydol. Everyone was able to expect that. Claydol now getting the free Stealth Rocks against the switch out and
But
Kyurem
now,
Ice Beam. Claydol takes no damage behind this veil, so is able to toxic the Kyurem, which is a big threat for every single random bad team. Did
oh,
you did you play random battles, by the way? Like, are you experienced in the random battles meta?
I've played like a bunch of them, but I don't like. I basically meme in those. It's like my, it's like my like relieving tier. So if I'm having trouble on the ladder, and if I get hacked a lot,
We
I
saw
just go to
Sludge Bomb
random battles.
poisoning the Claydol here. Really unfortunate. Also, I want to point out one thing we saw earlier happening is a dragon was out, dragon dancing, scouting for is this opponent able to bring in a fairy? If no, Dragon Dance Regidrago probably just wins the game, but we saw a fairy coming out, Clefable. Good answer to that in the random battles tier. So great preparation from Anna to bring in the Clefable that he clearly prepped there for the case if someone brings a Dragon Dance Pokemon. Weezing almost going down to the Bomber Snowman and Ice Shot doing the
But
rest. No, Azumarill
see the
comes
zoom,
in.
a huge
Aqua
threat.
Jet doesn't kill, because Azumarill is
Oh,
weak. And now it
this
dies to the hail.
just
We see the
and
last
now you
Pokemon from
see
Stitcher is a
Caracosta.
Caracosta, and we
Maybe
see a
maybe
Rotomore.
you might see a Dynamax here, maybe because Caracosta is normally a Dynamax Pokemon. Yeah, and you see the Dynamax. Max Rockfall is not killing, and Leaf Storm is gonna dominate, like
Even
absolutely
Dynamax, double
destroy.
HP, it doesn't matter. Rotom just claiming the kill here. It's not even close. But now
Oh, Caracosta.
Regidrago tries to set up again, probably. But the
Yeah, but
Clefable just fully stops it.
now Clefable just wins basically with Moonblast.
Yes, he sacked the Kyurem, trying to do a play with Rotom. Nasty plotting against the Clefable, but Clefable also combining. And
So this might be
Clefable takes
unaware.
little damage. Also, no, this Clefable is not unaware because otherwise it would
Yeah,
take
it's
sandstorm damage.
Magic Card, Magic Card.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
here it still
correct
has this
myself. Yeah,
Dynamax, so Clefable just out
yeah.
here easily winning.
Fine, fine.
And he
And
did show team, so we can look at his last Pokemon was a Braviary. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, all the EVs are always 58 on every single stat. It's just what random battles do.
yeah, so you see the amazing predicting team building. They knew they were gonna bring a Regidrago, so you see the Clefable. It's just absolutely genius from Arnav Gupta. We, we now move on to the second
Very
team.
rarely seeing a Caracosta seen in actual play, but Stitchu going for it, trying it, and not being able to break the team of Arno. And now let's look at the second game. And we see very different teams right here. Well, we don't see them yet, but we will see them soon. And it will be a lead Rotom fan. Another Rotom lead. Stitch is still going for the Rotom lead, even though it didn't work. And Aurora's getting the free Stealth Rocks here. Togedemaru coming in. Copperaja being a good answer to it, but the U-turn predicting that he has an answer. Going back to Rotom fan. We see it has heavy duty boots. Probably trying to Will-O-Wisp here, but Ribombee
Yeah.
doesn't care about its physical attack.
And you might see a web or a quiver dance. It's a webs, and webs comes in the nasty plot in front of its face, no respect to the Bombi. The Bombi is gonna now it's gonna
And
switch,
he
and that's a
very
early
early
Dynamax.
Dynamaxes.
Very
Which I
offensive
don't
Dynamax, good critic.
like, which I don't like
Yeah,
in like random battles you want to keep your Dynamax for like your best Dynamax option in a position where you know your opponent's team. Because now
yeah,
Anna is
you
just
want to.
able to sack Pokemon he doesn't need and waits out the
Yeah.
Dynamax.
Also, you don't know if the Arnav has a designated counter to this. You don't know if there's like a maybe a complete wall to this Rotom fan, so you're risking everything based on the rest of their team. But Arnav can now Dynamax knowing they don't have their Dynamax anymore and the Max Starfall coming out, most probably a play rough.
Yes, it's
And
definitely
Leaf
a play
Seed
rough. Leech Seed
and
making Tangrowth at least trying to put some work in, but it doesn't survive, as we probably could expect. Togedemaru now coming in. Let's see what this Cooperacha
probably
does.
to
It's just switching out. Giratina comes in, and Giratina would have probably just walled Rotom, let's be real here.
yeah, that's you crit it with like air slash or something. But that's the carving. Maybe Will Wisp Hex, I think.
Will-O-Wisp is
But
just a
there's
bad play there, though, because Misty Terrain was still up. I
Misty
think Ana
Terrain
just
is
forgot about
sabotaged.
it. Defog from
Don't
Crowbat
we
is
all?
very helpful, though, because the webs and Stealth Rocks would have been really annoying. And we see a great
That's a
predict,
great read. Absolutely
expecting
great read
either
from
him
Arnav.
going Togedemaru or going for the Roost. So Earthquake was free there. Toxicity coming in.
And
It's the shift gear, not
shift
the
gear
choice
setup.
specs one. Mystical Fire really annoying for
And
Toxtricity because it obviously wants
because,
attack special. Boomburst dealing 0 damage to a Carbing. So does Sludge Wave,
uh,
honestly. And now Light Screen comes in and this Toxicity will
oh,
deal
that's.
no damage. It's just not able to put in work right now.
Then, but at this point, it's.
But the poison really
Yep, there's the
unfortunate for the
poison.
Carbing. Just not able to stall out one more turn. Alchemy now coming in. Sludge Wave with negative special attack and a light screen and it being alchemy, it deals no damage whatsoever. The main problem is for Stitcher is his Crobat is basically dead. And yeah, there's another like Arna going for the double Clefable teams. Really try-harding out here.
Now mind Clefable beats this 1v1, I think. Yep, but there's a mystical fire, but Arnav can just freely spam this Carmine and the Will-O-Wisp Hex Giratina in the back is definitely um, again gonna beat the Crobat whenever if it tries to switch in, and the Clefable is just gonna keep on Carmining
And we will see. Well, this might come down to PP or a crit at this point,
or
unless
crit.
it's
Yep.
unaware Clefable, which I have not checked if it took
If it
Stealth Rock
is,
damage. I don't think they run
yeah,
unaware Clefable in random battles, honestly. If Arna
so it's
does,
gonna
that's
come
great
down.
prep.
Yeah.
Dazzling Gleam. And there's the crit on the
And there's the
first
crit,
hit.
and that's the
Highly
uh,
unfortunate. And
that's
now
a
Crobat doesn't manage to take this Moonblast anymore. This is a plus six
and yeah,
Clefable. And this was the first game actually, but yeah.
yeah, we watched it in reverse order, but you saw Arnav taking the series 2-0, and that means the Melmetals have qualified, and that sets the playoffs in motion. That means the Melmetal, Stack Attackers, Zebstreakers, and Rhydons have qualified. An unfortunate time for the Wooloos and the Earthlings, but it was a really
Which
interesting,
also, funnily
vivid.
enough, Ursarinx versus Wooloo, the two teams that faced off at the end, trying to get a
Yeah,
chance to win. Both are out anyways. Really unfortunate for
yeah,
them.
unfortunate. And so the playoffs are officially underway. So you'll see the playoff recap when they are over. But for now,
We are
I
in the
might
semi-finals
reveal.
now, and here we see Team 1 versus Team 2 and Team 3 versus Team 4. Hosts, you need
But
to update
I,
this doc.
but yeah, if you're curious, it's basically Maverick Malmetals versus the Stark Attackers and the Raging Rhydons versus the Z Warriors Streakers. So you'll see the result in the next recap. But for now,
For now,
Shripa,
we
if
are
you'd like to
out.
close it off.
We are out for this recording session. Thank you all for watching. Again, check out my other series I do with Aaron, and maybe I will do more in the future. If you want to see anything on this channel, let me know. You can just tell me via Discord, in the comments, anything, and we will get to look if it's possible to do. So thank you all for watching. See you again for the semi-finals of TWPL recap, again with Rice on my side. See you all next time.